Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how hypnosis actually works, specifically focusing on the PPF mechanism. Now, I guarantee you won't have heard of that before, and I want to just first tell you how I came upon this myself, right? I commonly get asked, how did you learn hypnosis? Is this a magical gift that you were just born with? Oh, you're so special, this, that, whatever. No. There's a false belief that we can't change quickly. There's a false belief that it takes extraordinary methods in order to get extraordinary results. And I want to break this down today because extraordinary only means different than the ordinary, different than the average. And the average is so mediocre, so abysmal these days that it's not hard to stand out, or it's not hard for something to appear extreme when actually it's closer to the truth than what the average is. Because you have normal meaning what is correct, what is right, what is proper. And then other people use the term normal as average. What's the usual? What does everyone do? And I would never want to be down that path. So normal meaning correct, I think it's actually more correct. It's more normal for us to use hypnosis and to know how to control our minds like this than it is for us to not use it. But it damn sure isn't average, because average is obese, average is poor, average is unhealthy, miserable, and dissatisfied with life, because the average person is a disempowered person. So how did I actually come into learning this? Well, when I was younger, I was very insecure, but I was very curious. I was very intelligent as well, as a byproduct of my mum being a teacher. And I think the biggest thing that has served me throughout my life is when my mum was teaching me concepts, the answer was always, it's not that you can't do it, it's that you don't know how to do it yet. And this has really been something that's propelled me forwards, because all roadblocks are self-imposed roadblocks. The first girlfriend I ever had, we were like 16 and we're talking about long division. And she goes, I can't do that. I was like, no, you don't know how to do it yet. She's like, no, I can't do that. I was like, you could, if you put time into it and if you figured it out, if you broke it down piece by piece, you would eventually get it. You know that, right? And she's just like, no, I can't do that. And because she had that belief, which had been reinforced to her through the average education, she was disempowered for life. That roadblock was there for life, not because it's a true roadblock, but because that's what she told herself was the limitation. And so being naturally curious, I progressed. I was advanced in all the subjects. I got a scholarship to high school. I took a few subjects a year early. And the thing with that is, though, you can only progress so far before starting to question everything, right? Like, as curious kids, we're always like, why? And that's naturally in us until it gets programmed out of us, until we're told that we're too much, we're too annoying, we're too difficult. I never really lost that. I just started to lose trust in the average. If they couldn't answer my questions, okay, I'll go find someone that can. And so what sparked a next wave of curiosity for me was I felt like I had kind of done school. I was like, okay, well, these mainstream approaches are only getting me so far. They're only leading me to so many answers, and I still feel insecure. I still feel kind of lonely. I'm the black sheep. In fact, the more I learn, the more I kind of observe other people as I grow up, the more I'm like, how are you guys okay with this? How are you guys okay with mediocrity? Is no one questioning what's going on right now? And so it wasn't until my nana mentioned this podcast app to me. And at the time, there was only true crime podcasts and Joe Rogan. That was about all that exists. It was back in 2015, maybe. And so I naturally ended up listening to Joe Rogan, and that was, these are non-mainstream people with information that's more interesting, more relevant, more useful than mainstream sources. And that really set off my investigation of, okay, well, how can I hear other than the mainstream approaches? How can I hear non-normal things? Because I grew up totally normal. Mum was a teacher, went to primary school in New Zealand, played football all my life. It's not a gift that you're born with. Hypnosis is a framework of understanding. It's a practical application of the psychology which everyone is born with. Everyone's brain works this way. And what we are doing is manipulating the brain for a positive outcome. Manipulation as a word has a negative connotation. That means people assume manipulation is a bad thing. But you can manipulate a child in order to eat the right foods, which is ultimately good for them. You can manipulate your dog via a leash to walk in the right way so that it does not fall off a cliff or chase a bird into a pile of shit and then you have to fucking give it a bath when you get home, right? There's good manipulation, there's bad manipulation. With hypnosis, the manipulation that's going on is manipulating the natural thought processes in your head so that they serve you rather than sabotage you. And how I stumbled into this was I was doing this personal development, never much Tony Robbins, to be fair. That sort of came a little bit later, but I was watching Joe Rogan stuff, Jordan Peterson. For my 16th birthday, I asked my parents to buy me his book. That was a mind blower. How to Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. What's the other classics? How to Win Friends and Influence People. All the good ones, right? And I was hungry, reading them more, listening to more podcasts. Okay, now we got Joe Dispenza, we got Bruce Lipton, we got Wim Hof coming in with a little bit of a psychedelic wave, exploring consciousness a little bit further, right? Because we can have information and then we can have information that alters our consciousness, which alters the way that we perceive information. Oh, that's another level deeper. And ultimately, it wasn't until I had this business coach who his girlfriend at the time got hypnotized to get over a fruit phobia. Didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently if there were bananas and blueberries in the fridge, she couldn't go in the fridge. She couldn't use the fridge. And this business coach, he was a marketing guy, Alan Moore. He was on the influence, like subtle persuasion side of things. And he just, once he hired the hypnotist, he got hypnotized himself for motivation, discipline, clarity, and he just was raving about it. Said it's the best thing ever. He's made an additional $100,000 the week of it that he knows he wouldn't have got if it weren't for the hypnosis. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll check it out. And I was checking out this hypnotist, and the way he was explaining these concepts, all of a sudden it clicked. I realized that everything I'd been doing, the audiobooks, the meditations, the reading, watching the YouTube videos, all of this study was in a way hypnotizing myself. It was indirect hypnosis because it was subconsciously shifting the limiting beliefs that I had around my life. And then I looked back and I went, oh, well, this is why my life has continued to progress more and more. This is why I'm happier and happier when I see people slowing down. Remember, I was a personal trainer at the time in the wealthiest area in Auckland. And these clients had all the money that they needed, but the most broken bodies, the most broken families, the most frustrated and trapped minds. And I was 18 with no money, and I was still happier. I still knew my life was going to be better than theirs was. And I was always wondering why. And learning about this hypnotist made me realize that I had been programmed and my automatic thoughts were serving me, whereas theirs were literally sabotaging them and causing them pain. And so once I realized that, I went, okay, well, if I've indirectly hypnotized myself to project myself to the point where I'm at right now, what about if I was doing it directly? What if I was doing it specifically, intentionally, and really leaning into hypnosis to the fullest extent? And that's when I became a hypnotist. That's when I leaned all the way in. That's when my income has, what would it be at? 20x'd compared to back then. Trying to do the maths on that. I was making between 200 and 300 bucks a week, up to 500, and wasn't keeping any of it. Was having a very hard time with that. And so moving forwards, I went all in, and it's been a process of discovery. Everybody asks, how did you learn this? Marcel Klein, he's the first guy that I learned from, but his big emphasis is on actually doing it, right? Because there's far too large of an emphasis on theoretical knowledge. I won't get into it, but the education system that we're in teaches kids to read too early because you should be developing the right hemisphere of the brain, which is the creativity and freedom. It's not fully developed up until around 7 or 8. and forcing you to regularly do something which is left brain, reading, writing, learning, all this logical stuff, forcing that to take priority instead of full development of the right hemisphere of the brain causes this overly analytical focus, which is why anxiety is so common, because they need to feel in control all the time. They need all the details. They need every single little factoid in order to feel safe. They can't feel safe and comfortable in their own body. And so that's where the issue comes into play. Now, realizing that we can break free of that, or understanding that that's not the most important part, what you have to do is learn things before you're ready to learn them. Dive all in before you're ready to go all in. The whole point is that you learn what to do, not you wait until you know exactly what to do, then do it. That never happens. If you're reaching the goal of trying to hit a 20K month in business, or 100K a month, or $1 million a month in business, you don't know how to do that thing until you've done it. And then even once you've done it, you still technically don't know, because the conditions are never going to be exactly the same again. If you make $1 million in February, you still don't actually know how to make $1 million in March, because the conditions are never the same. So realize you're never going to know everything you need to know in order to do something. The best in the world, the high performers, the elite, take action when they're not ready yet to take action. Because the only way you become ready is by doing it, by moving through it, by pushing further regardless of where you're at. So the concept or the element of hypnosis, because hypnosis works in so many different ways, the element that I want to break down is the PPF mechanism. Now, I might whip up some visuals on screen, because it's complicated, but once you get it, your life will change forever. Literally, once you get it, this has enabled me to make more money than I've ever made in my life, to have the perfect relationships. I never argue with any of my partners, never have, never will. I don't feel scared, I don't feel rejected, I don't feel upset when a relationship ends. I feel excited because I know that more's coming. That is abundance. Abundance is knowing that there's always more. Abundance is knowing there's always better, and things are just going to continue to trend upwards. And so stepping into this mechanism, PPF, past, present, future, your present feelings, motivation, discipline, confidence, your present state is determined by what your mind believes the future will look like. What your mind believes the future will look like comes from what your brain knows has happened about the past. Your brain projects the future your brain projects the past to create an image of the future, and that image determines how you feel right now. Think about it like this. If you're here at the start of this line, and you know that this line moves straight up towards success, happiness, and bliss, that's where you're going to progress to. If you know that's the direction the line's going in, you feel like good right here, right now, because you know you're going right up there. If you're at the start of the line and you know that line is going down into misery and hatred and self-pity, you feel like shit right here, right now, because you know what's coming. This is what a midlife crisis is. People hit this point, it's not bad yet, but they anticipate that life will look like this for the rest of their life, and they're fucking terrified right here, right now, because that is what they are envisioning. Me, I know my future's like this. I feel fucking great. I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. I don't have a boss, never have, never will again. And I do what I want. I get to work. I'm disciplined. I train 6 days a week. I've got no one telling me to take care of myself. I've got no one telling me to do anything. And I still do. I work from when I wake up to when I go to sleep because I love it. And I know that it's taking me there. So I feel great here right now, which enables me to have the capacity to go and do these things. So what hypnosis does, you've probably overcome some big stuff in your life. You're probably already more successful than people might have anticipated you'd be. You're probably more successful than your circumstances would have allowed for, right? Think about every reason you had to fail. Some of them were legit. Some of them were big fucking things. Think about all the people you know that did fail, that didn't progress, because of the same reasons you had. And realize that your body is holding on to those. Your brain subconsciously remembers those. And if it's subconsciously remembering those, then your success seems like an anomaly. Seems like a weird thing. It seems like something that shouldn't be happening instead of what's natural. And if it's not natural, then the brain's subconsciously afraid of it. If it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel comfortable and safe, then the brain will try to repel us. This is where self-sabotage comes from. This is where not going as far as we know we could comes from. Because consciously we want more, subconsciously the brain's like, dude, you're already a fucking miracle. How are we here? How are we alive right now? We're making tens of thousands a month. We're making hundreds of thousands a month. We're making 7, 8, 9 figures a month. What's going on? It's shocked. And if your brain is shocked or unfamiliar with this level of success, then it can't let you hold on to this level of success. So the first element of hypnosis is removing that old story, which is being projected into your future. Because as soon as you start to see that differently, okay, well now your future projection can be good. Because if you're part, like our brain is basing our future expectations back when we were a kid. It's basing your relationship expectations back when you got rejected as a teenager. What did you know about life then? You knew nothing. It's basing your business expectations off your first year of work, of your first year in business. What did you know back then? You knew nothing. It's basing your sales confidence off that first interaction you had. We've all had terrible sales calls. We've all had terrible interactions with clients. And is your confidence being extrapolated from those moments? Because if it is, no wonder it feels so hard for you. No wonder why it feels so messed up and challenging and difficult for you. Because the brain's anticipating that that is what it's going to continue to look like. So what that does, phase 2, is we now have a totally different image of the future in our mind, an image that feels real. Because you have goals, but realize what the PPF mechanism is doing is telling you what your future is. You have goals, then you have what your brain is telling you you will accomplish. My brain knows for a fact that I will be the biggest in the Aussie personal development industry, and therefore I have that confidence and I take those actions, I have that motivation. I can say it on a public-facing video without any fear around it because it is known. Think about your goals. Do you say them with known confidence, or do you say it with like meager optimism? And hopefully, fingers crossed. You never get there. I would like that to happen. It's never gonna fucking happen. Genuinely. I want my goals to happen. That's not enough. You need to fucking know that they're gonna happen or you will not get them. It has to happen. Your goals have to happen. It's not a goal, it is your minimum standard, and nothing other than thinking like that will enable you to reach those targets, I guarantee it. So keep moving forwards. That is what having this locked in image in your head enables you to do. And all of a sudden doubt is irrelevant. What? We know what the future is. Now we're just taking the actions. I am my 30-year-old self because I already have that vision. I already have that certainty. So I can take the actions. I can move with his confidence. I can move with his productivity. I can move with his certainty in relationships, business, and health and fitness because I know what I'm moving towards. And therefore I will and must take the actions to get it. I wake up at 5 because I must. I get out of the bed at that time because I must. I train every single day. I can't remember 6 days a week. Can't remember the last time I missed a training session I was supposed to have because I know that I must, because I know that it makes me who I am. I'm 22 right now, but I'm not him. I'm not the 22-year-old version of me. I am the 30-year-old version of me. I am the fucking multi-millionaire version of me right here, right now. And I'm doing the actions to catch up to who I already am. This version of me is irrelevant. My full name is Ethan Ollie Hill. Ethan is the insecure version of me. I don't want to identify by my first name anymore. Ollie is the best version of myself. He makes the right decisions. He is confident. He moves forwards. Having that vision of my future enables me to act as the version of myself that I want to be, rather than feeling trapped and feeling, oh, I would like to be better. You're a bitch. Simple as that. If you're not moving towards it, you're lying. You're a liar. Ask yourself, have I been lying about my goals? Quite possibly. Quite fucking possibly. If you're not acting on it, if you don't already have what you want, you're not doing good enough, right? Your results reflect where your standards actually are. I'll say that again. Your current results reflect where your standards actually are. I was just doing a session this morning. Gina, it was her second session. And immediately after her first session, she shaved her head. She threw away all of the old crap in her house. She cut off friends. She realigned relationships with her family. She put down harsh boundaries because she raised her self-worth. She saw what her future is and therefore had the confidence to set the boundaries now, which enable her to become that type of person. If you knew for a fact you're going to be a millionaire with a beautiful wife, a beautiful house, the most loving and adorable kids, and some beautiful pet dogs, would you settle with some grumpy bitch of a partner right now? Fuck no, because you know the best is coming for you. If you knew that you were making $1 million in a month's time, would you work some dumb, miserable, boring fucking job right now? No. You'd go into 30K, 50K, 100K worth of debt this month because you know you've got it covered next month. You don't have the confidence yet, and that's why you don't have the results. You don't have the best version of yourself clear and owned in your mind yet. That's why you're not there. One of my clients, Callum, I was just with him before. This is where he stays. And what we're working on is him owning the best version of himself. And as soon as he got that confidence, he was immediately more productive. He's immediately more confident in the content that he makes because he stands on business. He knows, okay, this is what I'm moving towards. He has that total certainty, total faith that he's going to get there. One of my clients, Connor, he had 4,000 followers when we first started working together. He was insecure, didn't really know where he wanted to go, didn't even have a fucking job at the time. Now, we've done 2 sessions together. He's got 20,000 followers on Instagram. I think multiple posts that are at or very near 1 million views. He got his dream job working at, probably in my opinion, and definitely his opinion, one of the best gyms in the world. And so it very quickly comes from, okay, two out of 3 of those people had bad pasts, right? And because they had low past, the PPF mechanism projected that low past into them having a low future. So in the moment, they felt like shit and they felt like their goals would be impossible to reach because consciously they wanted this, subconsciously their brain was telling them they're destined for this. By getting their subconscious to say, sorry, nearly got confused how the mechanism works. By getting their consciousness to let go of this, instead of their subconsciousness telling them that they're going here, it allowed them to view themselves going here, which gave them the confidence, discipline, motivation, self-belief to take massive action right here, right now. And it's that massive action right here, right now, that unlocks the positive future. You genuinely cannot take the positive action that gets you the positive future until you've already anticipated yourself going to that next level. That's the backwards nature of it. You have to truly believe it's possible first. You have to know and own the possibility first. That's the only way that it'll fucking come to you. Take action right here, right now. Success is not what you do once. Success is what you do every single day. What would you do every single day if you knew the best version of yourself was coming right here, right now, this month? If you want help with that, DM me the word change right now.